this is optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the new Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Fishface figure. Shredder's underworld underwater thug. Now, a lot of people have been asking me to review this, and honestly, the reason that it took so long was because I was kind of waiting for the premiere episode, I suppose, kind of focusing on Zephyr and Fishface here and how he got his ability to leave the water. And as we saw towards the end of the kind of like the first part of season 1, I suppose, we saw that Baxter Stockman kind of aligned himself with Shredder. And honestly, this is probably made by Baxter Stockman. I'm guessing, I don't know. But that's what I was kind of waiting for, and since it's taken so long, I figured I might as well just review the thing and get it over with. But really nice packaging on here. You got the shell kind of clam shell that's in the shape of a shell. You get it. Yeah, you know. Come around here on the back. You see the turtles as well as a couple of their allies down here. You got the bad guys. And then a brief little read up here where it says, "A thug with no equal. Fishface was once Zephyr, a street urchin recruited by the Foot Clan for his incredible criminal skills. Mutated by the Krang, this crook's become even more crooked, thanks to his hybrid body. Forced to rely on powerful robotic legs and an external water-breathing rig, Fishface may be a fish out of water, but that doesn't stop him from being the turtle's most cutthroat enemy." Very interesting. And you see his weapons are a venomous jaw and a sword and knife. And obviously he's aligned with the Foot Clan. So there you have it, the one and only Fishface. You can see he's got a dagger and a sword here. So let's get him open though and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have Fishface open up and out of its packaging. Now Zephyr becomes mutated into Fishface at the same time that Chris Bradford becomes, well, Dog Pound. But Dog Pound actually got more of an introduction than really Fishface has yet. I'm sure we will get it at some point in time. But as of right now, Zephyr is just floating around underneath kind of Shredder's lair in a big giant fish tank. He doesn't have the legs, he doesn't have the breathing apparatus, which is all something I think that, like I mentioned earlier, Baxter Stockman will bring to the table for this guy, finally allowing him to get around and actually kind of get more, I suppose, exposure. But the figure itself is based off of what eventually he will more than likely become. And I really actually like this guy. It's a really nice looking figure. My biggest complaint would be the fact that I think he's a little bit too big. Now, for a size comparison, here's Fishface and here's Dog Pound. Now, honestly, when I reviewed Dog Pound, one of my biggest gripes was I think that he's too small. Well, the exact opposite is how I feel about Fishface. I really think that he's too big. I think this guy needs to be about half the size, just to kind of keep scale in perspective, I suppose. But as you can see, here's the two main bad guys. Here's essentially the new Bebop and Rocksteady. And I really do like both of these characters. As you can see, he does have his little breathing apparatus, which is plugged on here kind of to where his gills would be. One thing that does kind of suck is his mouth doesn't open up. I really wish that they made it where his mouth could open. That would have been kind of cool. But really nice detail on here. I do wish there were some more paint applications put on here, but just in general, the paint applications on this guy don't bug me nearly as much as some of the other ones. It looks like it's pretty cohesive with the paint kind of blending in. I guess he's got some what looks like some wrapping, like tape wrapped around his wrist, which shouldn't be the same color as the rest of his body, but that doesn't bug me as much as it really did with the strap going across the back of Dog Pound. Now he does come with these two weapons. He's got this little dagger, which is nothing too spectacular, and then he's got this really big ass sword slash side looking thing, which is really very kind of cool. But you do notice that when you, if it stretches, you create these little stress marks already on here. So I mean, boom, here I'm gonna make one right here. Boom, there it is. I mean, it's definitely thinner there. I don't think it's necessarily going to break, but that does stress it out pretty badly, I suppose. Now, for the figure's articulation, his head will rotate left and right. These bits here don't detach, but these are a very soft rubber, so you get a nice range of motion, at least left and right with them, which is all you really need. He doesn't look up and down or anything. The arms are in pin and sockets, so they rotate back and forth, all that stuff. They move in and out. Nothing at the elbow, unfortunately. A lot of these secondary characters really don't have a lot of that extra articulation that the turtles have, which is unfortunate. He does rotate at the wrist, however, and then you can see that this arm is kind of locked in a different pose. It's not too bad. They're pretty similar, but you can see that there is a slight difference in the molding from the right arm to the left arm, and then he does rotate at that wrist as well. He rotates at the waist, and then his tail also rotates. So you can get all three of these things rotating independently, which is really very cool. And then the legs move forward and back at the hips, and then that's about it. And you can see that the legs as well are slightly molded in a, well, the number one, they're in this crouch position, but one is molded a little bit further than the other. It doesn't throw off the balance or anything. He stands perfectly fine, and it doesn't really hurt anything all that much, but you can kind of see that the left leg sticks out a little bit further than the right one, and these are a little bit softer, so you might be able to kind of warp these in a way where they're a little bit more closer together, but I guess that's personal preference. I do like these little dot looking things, like there's some kind of contraption, like computer program or something working in there, which is why I think that Baxter Stockman will kind of use maybe some crane tech to really kind of create this suit for Zephyr to wear and really kind of go around and be the evil Fishface character. But generally speaking, I really do like the way that the guy looks. In terms of his paint job and stuff, it's a little bit better than what we've gotten previously. And just in general, it's a pretty good figure. If you are collecting these new Ninja Turtle figures, this is definitely one that I would recommend picking up. As I said, these are the new kind of Bebop and Rocksteadies of the new 2012 series, and they're really very fun to kind of play with. And that just kind of looks a little bit goofy, but really, that's about it, guys. So, good looking figure, highly recommend picking them up if you see them. And until next time, this has been Optibotimus. I want to thank you for tuning in. I'll talk to you later.